We've never lived in a truly global free market. We've lived in a control system masquerading as a free market. And from the control system, because the control system is based on debt, and I'm not saying bad people on this, I'm saying a credit-based system can't allow deflation, because a credit-based system would collapse completely. So that credit-based system has to steal the money that should flow to you through deflation, plus inflation, to constantly create more monetary units to make you believe prices go up. And you're inside that system, and everybody's inside that system, making it stronger with all their actions. So you ask yourself, what would it look like if you had a decentralized secure protocol bounded by energy? Bitcoin, the first ever decentralized secure protocol bounded by energy. What would it be pricing if you couldn't change it?
What if everything you thought you knew about money was a carefully crafted illusion? What if the financial system wasn't designed to make life easier for you, but to keep you trapped in a cycle of inflation and control? Jeff Booth, a visionary leader who has spent over 20 years at the forefront of technological innovation, believes Bitcoin is not just another investment. It's the single greatest force of economic disruption the world has ever seen. Booth's thesis is simple, yet revolutionary. The natural state of a free market is deflationary. In a truly open and decentralized economy, technology drives prices down, making goods and services more affordable over time. But that's not the world we live in. Instead, governments manipulate the money supply, inflating currencies to maintain control, ensuring that prices always go up and people remain dependent on the system. This system isn't broken, it's rigged. And according to Booth, Bitcoin is the key to breaking free. Jeff Booth sees Bitcoin as the ultimate truth in a world of financial manipulation. Unlike traditional money, which is constantly devalued by inflation, Bitcoin operates on a fixed supply. Only 21 million will ever exist. This scarcity, combined with decentralization, makes it the most secure and powerful store of value ever created. If Bitcoin remains outside government control, Booth argues, everything will eventually be priced in Bitcoin, and its purchasing power will continue to rise forever. Think about it. Why do the prices of food, housing, and everyday goods always increase? It's not because things are getting scarcer. It's because fiat money is losing value. Governments print more currency, creating artificial demand while secretly eroding your savings. This is by design. But Bitcoin flips the script, putting financial power back into the hands of individuals and away from centralized authorities that thrive on economic manipulation. For centuries, the world's financial elite have dictated how wealth flows, ensuring that a select few benefit while the masses struggle under ever-increasing costs of living. But Bitcoin introduces an entirely new paradigm, one where financial sovereignty is accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Booth likens this moment to the early days of the internet in the 1990s, when skeptics dismissed its potential, only to watch it transform every industry. Bitcoin adoption is following a similar trajectory. While mainstream media and traditional financial institutions resist its rise, the reality is undeniable. Bitcoin is changing the way the world stores and transfers wealth. Nations, corporations, and individuals are waking up to the truth. Bitcoin isn't just another asset, it's the foundation of a new global economy. Don't miss what's coming next. Jeff Booth's insights will challenge everything you thought you knew about money. Stick around as he breaks down the level of Bitcoin penetration worldwide and why its impact is only beginning. You'll be shocked at the parallels between Bitcoin's adoption and the rise of the internet. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you're passionate about financial freedom, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more game-changing insights on Bitcoin. Your support helps us grow, and we couldn't do this without you. Now let's hear from Jeff Booth himself.
And it would be pricing perfectly the global free market. So measured against Bitcoin, prices of everything are falling. It appears to be rising because people are converting Bitcoin to their piece of paper to then measure Bitcoin price. But if you actually realize what is happening is, my house was 300 Bitcoin 5 years ago, my house is 22 Bitcoin today. Energy prices are falling, all prices, and as long as Bitcoin stays decentralized and secure, and when you really understand it, you know it will, It's the only thing that will. It will reprice everything else over time.
Yeah.
And I think most people can see this in themselves. The natural state of the free market is deflation. And we know that's true because we only use things that provide us more value. And an entrepreneur has to create more value to survive in the free market. So if we use things that give us more value, an entrepreneur has to create more value, then the output of that has to be deflation. In fact, what we're doing, what you're doing, is touching a whole bunch of people you couldn't touch with a one-man show right now because you can go direct because of technology.
Yeah.
So that's a massive productive force. And it's everywhere in our world. And so what that means is prices should be falling everywhere if you live in a free market. They should be falling at that rate everywhere. And you should get richer and richer and richer, even if you didn't work, as other people work for you and the natural course flows. So it'll be very chaotic because most people are giving today, because it's the cognitive dissonance of your brain trying to understand what I said. Right, and you can nod. Everyone nods their head, and they know that the free market is deflation, but they don't realize then everything that they're doing outside of living in that is empowering a control system. So that's actually why I use TCP/IP and the internet as an example. What would it look like as people tried to come to this new paradigm from their old paradigm, and that change was so hard on, because they were trying to mesh their old way of living into the new paradigm, and the new paradigm didn't care. Every 10 minutes, it was imposing a discipline bounded by energy that was an honest ledger. And so what it would mean is it would be repricing this. And so the Bitcoin's IRR for the last 15 years is compounded annual growth rate is 45%. Yes, it's volatile, but that means if you're investing in houses and you have 8% return, you're losing 37% a year against Bitcoin. So, but you think you're winning because you're winning because somebody else is losing money against houses. So you think you're winning, but you're actually losing. And so why that's going to be chaotic is most people don't understand.
So that's rationalization of that.
It's a rationalization. Just like if you were in Argentina, people look at Argentina as their currency got totally debased, going, why didn't they understand? When they're doing the same thing in the US today.
Yeah.
And so
they got to get out of the system.
Bitcoin is the only thing that's decentralized and secure. And I'm saying I'm not crypto. I think, and it would get really confusing as well because you wouldn't think protocols are winner take all, and the internet's a protocol, and they come in layers and add more functionalities. Technologies are the next technology beats the other technology, and winner take most. So we think in terms of technologies because we don't see protocols very often. There is only one internet.
Yep.
Right? You choose to be on it or you choose not to be on it. There is only one Bitcoin. You're going to be choosing to be on it or not be on it. And if you don't choose it, you're going to get repriced to buy it. And it's developing in layers, and there's more and more functionality building in layers. In fact, at EgoDeath, that's what we're investing in. And we're investing in, and if you saw what was happening and the rate of growth all around the world, you'd be very inspired.
Talk about alternative stablecoins, Ethereum, other crypto platforms.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that developer angle side of it? And then we'll go into some examples where you're seeing some people today that you're funding.
So I reduce this down to first principles. And the decentralization security bounded by energy is the innovation. So if you and all of the other blockchains either have to lack security or be centralized. So the hack on the exchange with Ethereum last week, that they actually had a talk about rolling it back to take it back, tells you it's not decentralized. You couldn't do that with Bitcoin. There is nobody to
roll
back.
It's no resilience.
So when somebody
exactly,
it's bounded by energy. It's secure.
You say bounded by energy. Describe that for the folks who heard that. What do you mean? It's bounded by energy.
So because of proof of work on how it chases abundant energy and it sources and you have to do the work to mine Bitcoin, find that holds it to energy. Right, so it puts a floor of energy, which is actually our new operating system for the world. And so so that bounded by energy, you can't change that.
Energy, you mean power?
I mean electricity,
Yeah,
power,
yeah.
all of the compute that goes in. The way the compute works to mine this is the number one cost in mining Bitcoin is the energy. So it chases energy all over the world, low cost energy, to be able to make make the economics work in Bitcoin, and that further decentralizes it. And then the nodes that audit the rules make sure those rules are followed. So that bounds this thing to energy.
So talk about the developer, back to the developer angle, because I think as you have that input, like TCP/IP, and again, I love layers, are totally right, protocols come out, but it's disruptively enabling new things. What's the enablement?
I love that you just said that, because that's what most people don't know. So if you just walk through, if Bitcoin made a choice, or the design choices wouldn't allow it to scale on layer 1. That's what keeps it decentralized, secure, bounded by energy. But it couldn't scale, 5 to 7 transactions per second. And so what people think now is, and then if you were just in this world and Bitcoin was repricing you and it appeared to you everyone was getting rich in Bitcoin, but it was every 10 minutes just repricing the world, right? And it appeared to you, then it would make sense, I'm going to create a better Bitcoin, right? And the free market would there's 11 million coins right now, right? And there would always be new ones because we fall into a trap of a better thing, right? And so how do you create a better one? If you create a better one by centralizing, you have to ask yourself a pretty simple question. Why, if you're going to centralize, wouldn't you just use a database instead of a high-cost database? Right. You wouldn't use a blockchain to centralize. I know, but you wouldn't use a blockchain to centralize. Yeah. So what ends up happening is Bitcoin then develops Lightning Network and Liquid and other layer 2s that right now, most people don't know this, touch 650 million people in the world that are transacting on Bitcoin all the time. 650 million, it's growing, layer 2 is growing faster than the internet was growing in the 90s. And people don't even realize that it does all these transactions.
The other argument
because the open networks win, because there's more minds contributing to the open network. And so we're not used to that because the internet on top of it has been captured by money. So we think of the network effect only as the giant companies, but open networks at the protocol level win. They always win.
Protocols are winner take all, I agree.
And they're winner take all. And so all of the innovation that's happening on top of Bitcoin right now is just natively in all the layers. And so if you're inside,
it's a standard.
It's a standard.
It's a standard.
It's a standard.
Again, like it's better to have the agreement. Let's just use that.
Yeah.
And then everybody wins.
Exactly. Everybody wins. And it would be normal that people would try to only win themselves and have a different coin.
Yeah.
Right.
But they move up the stack, so to speak.
But then those people that are doing those coins, if they were just honest actors and being in Bitcoin, they would win more.
Well, example, and why it's important from a systems perspective, because that's the innovation outside the application itself, is freedom for all, which I love.
Yeah, so that one example, and we're invested in a whole bunch of these different examples, but that one example came out of a need. Essentially, Bitcoin, most people saw it, the people saw it as a store of value, but not a utility where they could create value, communication, and everything else. So this company created, on top of Bitcoin, another protocol called Fediment that sits on top of Bitcoin, is integrated to it using I won't get technical, but the simple thing is it provides privacy of communications, complete privacy of communications, and money inside a network that a community can own for themselves. And those communities are now growing all over the world, and it's tethered to Bitcoin, and they're growing so fast all over the world. Why? Because authoritarian dictators are rising in the world, and this gives the antidote to that. But imagine what happens in the overthrow. In these governments, they shut off your communications. They shut off your banking. That's how these dictators thrive. But if they can't shut off your communications, they can't shut off your banking because you're outside of that network, all of the power goes back to the people.
So, that's a wrap for today's video. Jeff Booth's vision of Bitcoin repricing the entire world market is nothing short of revolutionary. He believes Bitcoin isn't just another asset, It's a tool for financial freedom, capable of liberating 8 billion people from the grip of inflation and government-controlled money devaluation. For decades, the system has been rigged to benefit the few at the expense of the many. Governments print money endlessly, eroding your purchasing power and keeping you trapped in a cycle of rising prices and financial dependence. But Bitcoin changes that narrative. It's decentralized, scarce, and immune to manipulation, a true hedge against inflation. Now we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Jeff Booth's thesis? Is Bitcoin really repricing the global economy, or is this just another financial experiment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more game-changing insights about Bitcoin, finance, and the future of money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.